Learning for today is that we will be able to change equations into slope-intercept form in order to graph the equation. Because remember, we've talked many times before, at this point, we have only been able to graph things that are in standard form or other forms of linear equations by plugging and chugging. Very, very time consuming. So yesterday we talked about how to solve an equation for y, and the whole point of that was to be able to graph it using slope-intercept form. So today we're going to be moving forward. We're going to be taking equations. We're going to be doing exactly what we did on Friday, which is change them into slope-intercept form. Today we're going to take that one extra step, and then we're going to go ahead and graph it, okay? So starting with this equation, I have 3y minus 3x equals 6. What is the first thing that I absolutely need to do with this equation in the process of solving it? Sandra, you change switch. Next thing we need to do is we need to figure out how to get that y alone. Which inverse operation should I be doing first to start moving things away on that side of the equation, Jeremiah? Yeah, we've got to deal with this addition over here. So the inverse of the addition of a negative 3x is to add a positive 3x. So my negative 3x and my positive 3x cancel out because they add up to 0, leaving me with 3y on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and commute my terms. The reason I'm going to commute my terms is because I want it to be in y equals mx plus b form for that slope-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 3x portion first. Remember, that's 100% okay because it's just addition. It's commutative. I've got one inverse operation I need to do in order to get y alone from here. Adriel, what do I need to do to get y alone from here? Divide 3y by what? Also, I need to divide the other side by 3. Again, remember, we have to divide the entire side by 3, which means we end up using the distributive property to distribute out this division. 3x divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3. Yes, Sammy?
So we can't commute 7 and 3 by 7 plus 3 because the x is there, right?
Correct. We can't combine those terms because they are unlike terms. So the x term cannot combine with the constant term. When I simplify the x term, I have 3x over 3. How is that going to simplify? Cassandra? Yeah, these actually cancel out to a, how many x? 1x. Plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now we're in slope-intercept form, so we're really close to being able to graph here. What we really quickly need to do is write out our slope. So what is the slope of our equation now that we've gotten this in slope-intercept form? Should be really easy to find. Alyssa? 1 over 1. Make sure you label that as a rise of 1 and a run of 1. And our y-intercept, give it to me in coordinate pair form. Esteban. 0, 2. Now we're all set to graph, so let's come on down to our graph. I want 0, 2, so that's over 0 and up 2. And my slope tells me rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run 1. And then find a trusty straight edge. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to make sure I get a nice straight line. Oh, need to get on my, there we go. And that's your line. So, at the end of the day, you decide, was this easier than plug and chug?
Yes, sir.
That's up to you. Some people are going to say, no, I much rather plug and chug. Solving equations for y isn't my thing. Okay, so you have a test on Friday. There will probably only be one problem in the test where I actually force you to solve for y. The rest of it's going to be, here's an equation, graph it. You decide what the best method is for you, okay? All right, let's look at the next one. Next one, is this in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Kip yes or Kip no, is this in slope-intercept form? No, definitely not in slope-intercept form. That y is not alone, okay? That y's got to be alone for it to be in slope-intercept form. So that means we've got a little bit of equation solving to do to get this in slope-intercept form. What's the first thing that I ought to do before I get started on doing this equation solving? Here we go. Chain switch. How many of those do we need to do? Two, yeah, because we've got one on the other side too. Not a big deal. Good news with this equation is there's how many things have happened to the y? Just one. So what's that inverse operation I need to do that's going to get that y alone? Richard, what's that inverse operation I need to do that's going to get that y alone? Add that positive 3 to both sides. That gets my y alone, 3x plus negative 2 plus 3. How's that going to simplify? 3x plus 1. What's our slope? Dak, what's our slope? And our y-intercept in coordinate pair form? Jeremiah? 0, 1. Now all you got to do is come down and graph. Coming to my y-intercept, 0, 1. Slope, rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1. Grab your straight edge. Even if it's a weird book about Twilight, whatever. You know, choose your straight edge. If you'd like that, if that's your thing, go for it. I don't know which one's which, so I can't choose. All right. So again, easier or more difficult. So for a lot of you, this one's going to be a lot easier than plug and chug every time because it's only one step. So maybe sometimes you're going to look at some of the equations, you're going to say, ooh, that's a really easy one to solve for y. I'm definitely going to put that one to y. And some of them are going to go, ooh, that's more difficult. I'd rather plug and chug. Up to you. Last one. How many steps to solve this equation? Alyssa. She says 1. What inverse operation do I need to do to get this y alone, Luis? What operation do I need to do to get this y alone? Yeah, divide by just 3. We don't want to take the y with it. So again, we see the situation where we're dividing by 3. We have to divide this right-hand side by 3, which means we end up distributing. Please do not leave out this step of rewriting the distribution. That's only going to get some of you confused if you don't rewrite this step. How can I simplify this? Tracy, how can I simplify this? What's my equation going to be? Yeah, y equals 2x plus 3 over 3 is 1. Slope is what, Geronimo? 2 over 1. That's my rise and my run. And my y-intercept, Grace? 0, 1. So bring it down. Y-intercept 0, 1. This time we have rise 1, 2, run 1. Rise 1, 2, run 1. So we're combining the lessons from yesterday. And we're just adding that extra step of graphing today. So we did all of this yesterday except for graph. And it's just I want you to be able to see, make that decision after today from now on. Which way am I going to graph it? You've got to make that decision. Are there any questions? Sammy?
So when you get 3 divided by 3, it's 1, right? Not 3?
Correct. 3 divided by 3 is indeed 1. Any other questions?